Mist. Oh, enveloping Mist. Oh, blackout kick.
What the fuck is this?
Mistweaver, man. Don't you know?
Man, didn't you learn last time these fucking things don't do no goddamn damage?
You're right, man. Fuck, man. Why the fuck, holy paladins? What?
What's that?
What is Mistweaver DPS buffs?
Oh shit.
But you know, the best way to catch buffs is also the best way to catch our videos. With the subscribe and bell thingy. Because we do videos about spec, podcasts, tier lists, news, and states of the game to get all of these into your inbox. So you really just need two clicks and
goddamn video already.
Some people just have no appreciation. Never mind. Buffs! Hell yeah! How about that? Mistweaver is getting a bunch of buffs in 9.1, so let's hit it. First of all, we have a base increase of 10% damage approximately to Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, and Tiger Palm. These are the bread and butter of the damage rotation for Mistweaver. And I know, not everyone is enjoying fist weaving, but listen to me. I do, and that's really what's important. Wait, no, that's wrong. Oh, there we go. I know not everyone is enjoying fist weaving, but fuck Venthyr Paladins. Wait, wrong again. Fist weaving is the best. No, my raid didn't have a slot left for Windwalker. You know what? The Focus Thunder and Upwelling playstylers are decent anyway, so what if I want to punch and kick things and not feel like a toddler flailing my arms at grown-ass adult raid bosses? Expertly crafted analogies aside, fist weaving has been and still is the most efficient way of healing. Whether you play Rising Mist or simply weaving in some DPS in your downtime, the reality remained that in 9.05 you were doing almost laughable damage. It's not necessarily about needing to do damage or not, but rather about your abilities feeling at least impactful even from a healer perspective. And we didn't even touch on the fact that the damage increase will also be netting a healing increase from the ancient teachings of the monastery legendary, which converts the damage done with its effect into healing. Spinning Crane Kick has also been buffed to 20% more damage. Although this one does not factor into fist weaving, it is something you occasionally press, at least in 9.05 to apply Mystic Touch in AoE. But in 9.1 it would be a bigger incentive to pop it and deal some AoE damage as well. In terms of the healing bit, Enveloping Mist has had its mana cost reduced by 6.7%. This is a good buff, but whether it's enough remains to be seen. Enveloping Mist has seen a resurgence in popularity and power with the addition of the Invoke Yu'lon the Jade Serpent Celestial cooldown. This one is a HPS powerhouse provided you spam Enveloping Mist, which normally would get you and likely to still do so in 9.1 if this is the most mana management buffs we will get. On that topic, Mana Tea can be cast while channeling Soothing Mist, which is a nice quality of life change, potentially making it more viable if you intended to use it for a lot of instant heals through Soothing Mist channel, since the channel itself is a global that does not benefit as much from mana reduction if you would pop Mana Tea before Soothing Mist, freeing you up to fill the Mana Tea window with more mana-intensive globals. Last but not least, Revival has had its base healing nerfed by 10%, but it will now proc your Mastery Gust of Mists, and synergize with Essence Font, conduits like Resplendent Mist and Jade Bond, and so on. This is an actual HPS buff to the spell, which the big brain Mistweavers have deduced to be the case even with 0 added mastery to your character. Even more, the buff to it would heal more even if it wasn't buffed by any other synergy, since the mastery that you get baseline gives more healing than the 10% overall nerf it's getting. This is pretty big. Previously, one of the best aspects of Revival, arguably, was the fact that it mass dispelled your entire group from magic, poison, and disease effects. Shadowlands has less of these overall than BFA, if I'm not mistaken, but a bunch of more curses this time around. Regardless, a 3-minute cooldown mass dispel with at best respectable AoE heal was an underwhelming cooldown for a healer in a world with aura mastery, power word barrier, spirit link, and so on. The fact that the heal it does can also be influenced by your mastery level can make Revival a more competitive cooldown to use, and in the proper hands with Weapons of Order or Bone Dust Brew, you can make a full raid lay on hands, which is nuts. Especially for monks running upwelling and / or Arcurians with weapons of order. Hooray! A little bit more and maybe Mistweavers can compete with Discipline and Resto Shaman in Healer Cooldown's Showdown every Saturday at 2 minutes past 4 on the Cambridge campus. And that's about everything regarding buffs and nerfs and changes like that. Let's see what new legendaries you will get. Yeah! For Necrolords you have Bountiful Brew, and yes, these are Covenant legendaries if I forgot to inform you. Bountiful Brew makes it so your abilities have a low chance to cast Bone Dust Brew at your target's location. As far as Mistweaver is concerned, the value of this one seems unclear. Sure, it's nice to have extra proc of the thing, but Bone Dust Brew is something you kind of want to aim since it affects both friendlies and enemies. You kind of want to play its mechanic, and having it proc randomly can be a great boon or a waste if it procs on mobs that just die in a few seconds or group members at full HP or in no danger anytime soon. The number of procs even out over the course of a long boss fight, sure, or a dungeon, so if the numbers will justify themselves, it could see play. The competition it has for the legendary spot is pretty tight, however, but that can be said about all of the legendaries. Call to Arms is the Kyrian counterpart and makes weapons of order call forth Yulon, or Chi-Ji if talented, for 12 seconds. This is actually pretty cool, mechanical wise. Weapons of Order procs a buttload of mastery, and combining them with the crazy HPS output of your Celestial, provided you have the mana, buffs Weapons of Order into a real deal healer cooldown. It does also bring with itself all the caveats of the Celestial, aka the need to spam Enveloping Mist and manage the mana accordingly, which might need mana tea for that. Night Fae will have Faeline Harmony. This one makes your reset chance double when it comes to Faeline Stomp, and the targets affected by it will take 8% more damage or healing for 10 seconds, depending on whether they are enemies or allies. Again, a legendary buffing the potential effect with more RNG. I am not a fan of healer abilities having RNG baked into them. As far as damage is concerned, sure, you will kick and punch pretty much the entire fight, assuming you are fist weaving, and extra damage here and there is always welcome. But for healing, you don't really want to be healing 24/7, rather when it's most necessary and can be pulled off efficiently, considering Mistweavers are already notoriously bad at mana management. Hence, tying survivability to a random factor seems incredibly counterintuitive and has been a hit or miss in the past with other specs as well. And finally, the Venthyr legendary is Sinister Teachings. Mechanically, this one seems more interesting. Fallen Order will summon an additional Crane Adept, supposedly, since you are a Mistweaver, and it will be up for 24 seconds. Furthermore, while there is an active Adept, your crits will reduce the cooldown of Fallen Order by 3 seconds. Fallen Order aside, being a wonky ability to begin with, the cooldown reduction can be a neat mechanic. Mistweaver is no stranger to crit as a stat, and adding your HOTS and direct heals to your potential constant DPS abilities can potentially add some serious cooldown reduction to Fallen Order. The discussion now turns into a different direction. Do you need the cooldown reduction? How much does it align with boss mechanics or dungeon routes? Is Fallen Order worth going Venthyr for because of this legendary? Is it a competitive replacement for Ancient Teachings of the Monastery or Tear of Mourning? Granted, these questions can be translated to each Covenant legendary, so It's no secret that Mistweaver is seen as potentially the worst performing healer, but mostly from a community perspective. It has its niches, but one thing is clear, it's definitely the least popular healer in raids. Looking just at the mythic logs, Monk is in the middle with only 6.4k mythic parses, while everyone else has at least double that amount. The numbers are there, but Mistweaver is lacking in the cooldowns department, especially in the damage department when it actually matters. Not everyone is interested in damage output, sure, and it's not necessary for everyone, of course. And for those in question, all of this is irrelevant anyway, because Mistweaver has cleared and has been clearing for a while Mythic Nathria and very high Mythic Plus keys. The performance of the spec is unquestionable in regards to the content, it's mostly against the other healers where things get dicey. And these issues are more apparent in Mythic Plus dungeons. A quick look at the logs and you will see the issues with Mistweavers affect its meta performance. A strong note on meta. Meta doesn't necessarily refer to its viability, but its competitiveness value. Monk is one of the most fun healers, at least for us, and mechanically satisfying. The higher in content and skill you go, the more you will feel that your lack of good cooldowns, mana management, and damage output will keep your group from progressing as fast as they would with a paladin or a shaman. And of course, take all of this with a grain of salt. 9.1 isn't out yet. We still have shards of domination in the patch and a new level of gear, soulbinds, and conduits that will affect your overall power on top of everything you already have. Until the patch is out for, I say at least a month, it will be hard to tell how good Mistweaver is. So far, is the only healer as of this testing that has received buffs across the board, so keep your fingers crossed. And also keep yourself up to date with the Peak of Serenity community, both on the Discord and the website, where the top misty brains test all of this for you so you know what's what. A big thank you to Anomaly and Abolito for helping us understand a little bit what these changes mean and how they will affect 9.1, at least in theory, because even though we have been able to test a couple of the content, tuning is still up in the air, so we'll see exactly how that turns out. But you can find these two wonderful people in the Peak of Serenity community. And of course, thank you to the patrons for supporting the video and everything that we do on Marcelian&Online. We don't do class guides anymore until 9.1 comes out because we kind of have done them all, so we kind of just do these 9.1 changes. And if you like these and also our tier list, our spec podcasts, our news episodes, make sure you subscribe and like. And of course, if you want to support us a little bit more, the link to our Patreon page is down below. It really helps us out and we really appreciate it. Thank you for watching the video. See you next time.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.